Don't forget to subscribe and keep listening. And remember, everything in life is getting back to basics.
Hi, my name is Bruce Wozniak. Thank you to Back2Basics for inviting me over. Don't forget to subscribe and keep on listening. And remember, everything in life is going back to basics.
Hello. This is Girish Pally from Back to Basics. How are you guys? Hope everyone is all well and safe during the summer, obviously. And today's not even an episode today. Today's going to be a bang, shebang. It's all about Milestone and Milestone. Now, everyone knows that this is season 2, but I want to give you a little history of Back to Basics a little. I don't want to bore everybody. So back in January 2021, Back to Basics started their first episode. And we said to ourselves that we're going to do this every Friday. And then last year, sometime in July, I came out with a promotion called Back to Basic Promotion, which is the birthday promotion, my birthday, that is. And what I said to myself is that I need to simplify stuff in a very, very strategic way. And what was that? Releasing every day. So I've been releasing every day. And then I got a great milestone last year, which was 137 episodes. And this time, season 2 is not even over yet. And I got 2 months left till it's over, which is in the month of September. And that's the last episode for season 2. And guess what we're celebrating today? We're celebrating another milestone, another great milestone, which I'm so privileged and so honored. And then I'll give you some other news happening on Back to Basics too. But before we do that, today's a guest and not an actual guest. She has been a guest already on Back to Basics. And today we're going to go and celebrate her is because her episode is releasing today. And today is the 100th episode today. And Leslie's on. And Leslie is just a shebang awesome woman. I've talked to her many times, numerous times, even before the recording. And she has been a great friend of mine. So let's bring her on. Let's go and congratulate her on bringing her onto Back to Basics on the 100th episode. Leslie, how are you? Thanks for coming to Back to Basics.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so honored. And it is bittersweet. All of you, the people in the world of podcasting that we've connected with, you're like that security blanket, that comfort when we're all going through the similar paths and resetting and shifting ourselves and trying to figure out, I think one of your guests said something like the wild, wild west. And I'm honored to be here. So thank you very much for those such sweet words.
No, absolutely, Leslie. Thank you again. And, we recorded this a couple of months back and we're releasing it today and it's 100 episode. Okay. Now the question comes to me is that how am I feeling? Honestly, I'm feeling out of the 9 cloud right now, but how are you feeling as a guest, as you are part of that milestone for another podcast? What are your thoughts on that?
It's been a wild, crazy, awesome ride because I'll tell you honestly, several years ago, I just knew that I envisioned myself in this whole world. I had no really idea about how to get a podcast going, how to do all this. But through that perseverance and that, that road that we're all taking, we've connected. And it's been so cool. I mean, we just, I've been having a great time just getting all my wisdom out and just sharing with the world what we're here for. We're here on this planet for a reason. And, it's been an interesting ride.
Yeah. Leslie, thank you again for that. Let me ask you this, and you have seen my journey from season one until today. What are your thoughts on how great or horrible is going on Back to Basics? I mean, what are your thoughts on the journey that we've had so far?
It's a beautiful thing to see how we're just peeling off layers of ourselves to really find um, what our true persona is, and just the people that you have on, and we're still trying to figure out what why we're doing this, what we stand for, the people that we have on, all of the people that you've had on your podcast. And I just love to sit back and see everybody grow, evolve, and refine and perfect your tools and
Mm.
reboot. Sometimes you need to take that little break, as I was just discussing with you, just to give myself a breather and then to jump back on board. But it's a lot of work. But when you love what you're doing, right, it's not really work. It's a lot of hours, but we're really in this for a reason, for a journey and our passion. So I don't want to keep saying journey, passion, journey, but it's really cool.
It is. It is. I mean, it sounds like a broken record, doesn't it, when we say passion and when we say that, but it's actually really true, isn't it? I mean, you have to love what you do, but then you have to show it also. And I think you and I are kind of doing that in a very different way, but we are showing our talents, skills, and everything else on each other's show. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because think about it. I mean, we've been there, done it for a while now, right? We have families. We've been in different jobs, but with that, we have those similar tools, either if it was in sales or tech or working for companies. And that's the beauty of when you get to a certain age, you could take all those tools and start using it into an avenue that you're really focused on, and have that confidence, and have that wisdom and drive, and it just exudes from what you do as a
Mm.
podcaster. And I'm just so proud of you, because it's just so cool to see you grow and connect with so many people.
No, but thank you again, Leslie. I mean, people like you who come on my show to honestly make it brighter for you, but you're the ones who actually brought that talent into my show, and I'm very grateful for that. And thank you again for that. In the meantime, while we do that, I want everyone to know that if they do want to call in to Back to Basics, and we have done this several times already, and I don't know if you know about that, Leslie, but when we do have live sessions on Back to Basics, I tell people to go and call and ask any questions to myself or to the guest itself. So here's a special number that people can call, and please be mindful. You should be calling at 513 Yo B2B1. That's 513 Yo B2B1, which is 513 900 2221. And the reason why it's B2B1 is because Back to Basics is number one, according to me. I don't know about you or Leslie or anyone else, but according to me, it's number one. So please do call in. Any comments, any questions, we're here to go and answer. So, Leslie, in the meantime, why don't we, if it is okay, that I can just play one quick, I guess, advertisement for the other guest who's been released during the week. His name is Jose, and I think I've interviewed him several times. Well, actually, twice. So here you go.
Hey everyone, Jose Elizondo here. I'm just so excited to have been on Back to Basics show. Thank you so much for inviting me. I want to invite you guys to definitely, subscribe and keep listening. It's been such an amazing show. A lot of my success I can contribute to taking it back to the basics, to the simple things that I do in my business, and all those little details that I take care of. So definitely want to encourage you guys to subscribe and keep listening, and seeing on all the different topics, different ways that you guys can take things back to basics to get your success. Hope you guys are having an awesome day.
Guys, that was Jose, and we had him released this week, actually. I should say today's Wednesday, isn't it? It was just released yesterday. And we interviewed like a couple of months back live, actually. So if anyone wants to see this live session, go for it. Otherwise, just go to all my audio platforms, and it's released today, finally, officially. Leslie, when we ask these questions, that what does back to basic mean to you? What does that feeling come to you? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, is it a normal question to ask when we ask these questions to the guest?
I love that question because I don't know what I answered the last time, but it was really just, for me, it's just getting back to grounding myself, taking the facade away, getting back to reality. And I think, it's so apropos with a lot of people I've seen change through everything we've been through over the last couple of years, because we all can kind of commiserate, and we're all human. And at the end of the day, we have our ebbs and flows in life, but we all join together, and it's just stripping us back down to why we're here on this planet, just getting back to basics. So
Yeah,
that's my feeling.
Thank you, Leslie. And then Jason actually just made a comment on one of the social media, I think YouTube's. It says, "Congratulations, Girish! 200 plus episodes is a solid determination and hard work, and kudos to my efforts." So thank you again, Jason, for all that. I mean, honestly, with you guys and everyone else around me has definitely helped me along the way. It's not an easy task. Definitely when I do this every day, and it's just great that I'm just going to go for the next next milestone. What's going to happen for season 3? Leslie, I don't know if you know, but season 3, what we're going to do is we're going to have a different segments, right? And the segments are that I'm going to have a total of 4 podcasts, not even 1, 4, and it's very different. It's going to be back to basics mode business, back to basics mode wisdom, back to basics mode health, and obviously back to basics mode trending, right? And there are 4 different ones, and there are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and that's just how I'm going to do it. And I'm making it more simplified as what it is today, like really more. And then on top of that, we're just going to do very strategic, where we're going to do 25 episodes each, so which means a total of 100 altogether. I mean, now we're coming to a planning of how back to basics is going to be designing themselves for season 3. What are your thoughts on that part?
Well, first of all, everything that we do, right, there's a master plan. And just think about it, reflecting back, did you ever think now, all that you have done, this is the new strategy or the way that you were going to mold this or create this masterpiece? And I think that's what's really cool about podcasting. You talk to anybody. The bottom line is you have a voice. We're good listeners. We ask the correct questions because we really take interest in the guest. We want to get to know them because we all have fascinating stories, no matter where we are in our walk and journey in life. So I think it's just so cool and exciting to see how you're really taking this to that next level, creating that simplicity, but also amping it up and finding your track, your niche.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Leslie. I mean, it does take a lot of hard work to plan this out in a nice and strategic way. Obviously, season 3 is going to be very, very important to me. Not that season 1 and 2 were not, but I think it's just going to be really, really down tight and how my episodes are going to be now. And people are so appreciating all the efforts that I've done so far. So let me give you another advertisement, if that's okay, Leslie. There is a show that I did with Julie Wald, and she was interviewed a few weeks back, or I should say a couple of months back, and we just released it, or we'll be releasing on Friday, actually. So here's Julie Wald. So here you go.
Hi, this is Todd Christensen with MoneyFit by DRS. I so appreciate Garish for inviting me on to the Back to Basics show. Please subscribe and keep on listening. And remember, everything in life is going back to basics.
Hi, my name is Julie Wald. Thank you so much to Back to Basics for having me over. Don't forget to subscribe and to listen, and remember that everything in life is going back to basics.
Was Julie, and that was also Todd, who I interviewed also when it came to Back to Basics. What are your thoughts so far? Do you think that we are heading the right direction when it comes to podcasting world nowadays, Leslie?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think with everything, when you look at technology, everything that's going, we are just going in such warp speeds now. That there's so much out there to grab onto. But, we all have our special niche and our special avenue that podcasting is just exploding. And so many people are going in this direction, jumping on. But the bottom line is, never giving up, continually following and just growing. For me, just taking those next steps. So definitely, we're putting all this work, all this energy, we're getting the exposure, we're finding guests. That's a job in itself, but it's something that's so rewarding that who knows in another 5 years with technology where it's going to bring us. And hopefully it'll be a lot easier to navigate through. So yeah, it's just been incredible watching people and, even the show that you just attended and everybody that you're connecting with and what they're doing in technology is pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you again. I mean, I've met a lot of great people, including yourself. And when I went to this Podfest at Florida a couple of months back, I thought I was going to be the only loner there and not knowing anybody. And apparently that was not true. Apparently I knew a lot of people, which they heard my voice and they said, I know you. It feels very different, doesn't it? And I don't know, maybe it's just a different journey. And how has your life changed when you started your podcast?
It's definitely been rewarding because I'm a people person and I've always been out there in the forefront, either public speaking or speaking at trade shows. And I'm a connector and I love bringing people together, even off of the world of podcasting. There's so many people that I have connected with that I've collaborated with. And I just, we kind of work together as a team. So for me, it's been very rewarding, very gratifying. And I always had a vision that this is something that I always wanted to do. And years ago, we didn't have the tools to do this. Who would have ever thought we'd be speaking globally, connecting with people on so many platforms? For me, it's pretty, that's awesome. So yeah, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm just buckling in and I'm just kind of shifting and doing the best I can. But you are just an amazing force of just bringing people together, collaborating. And it's really in your heart and you are true. And we know that. And off of social media, we all kind of connect, collaborate, commiserate, because we're all going through things in life, but we still keep going and we're not going to give up, right?
No, of course not. Hopefully I'm not, because, I'm really enjoying this whole process, even though that there's a lot of stuff happening in my other life of mine and this life of mine, I'm still enjoying also at the same time. So whoever's listening right now, and including yourself, obviously, Leslie, if you go to this website called podcastawards.com, please do vote for Back to Basics. Please do vote for Girish Valley, because it looks like I'm on the category, and it looks like I'm nominated for many, many different categories. And Leslie, if you have not voted, shame on you. You should be voting for me.
I'm on it after this.
Okay. No, but please do, and please, all the hard work is all paying off, and people are seeing all my names in there, and that's as equal as an award itself, even though that it's not a award, in general. So, Leslie, when you first were invited to Back to Basics, right? What was your thought process of what do you think this show was all about? Even me discussing the details.
Yeah, it was just what is your story? Tell us who you are, and how you are contributing to your life, to people, to maybe your career or experience of something that people can resonate with. Because even though we all come from different walks of lives and different professions, we all have that commonality of that human spirit of getting back to basics. So it's always exciting. It's always, I try to be as transparent as possible and real, and tell my story, and I never thought, I'm like, people don't want to hear my story. But people can reflect, and we could come together, and we just kind of learn from each other. And it's very cathartic when you can hear people's story and listen to what they've been through, and
Yeah, that is very true. Leslie, I've told this almost to everybody. I'm not really sure if everyone knows, but there's a reason why we have a number 2 in Back to Basics, not because it looks cool. And I don't know if you knew that, but the reason why is there are 2 types of people in this world, right? One who are in the corporate world and they're really confusing people. Okay. And the other is that who are trying to simplify things in a better way, right? There are educated people and there are non-educated people. There are 2 types of people, aren't they? Now, you're telling me the person who's uneducated, they don't know anything? That's not true, is it, right? If we teach them in a basic way, in a fun way, in an educated way, that's what Back to Basics is all about. How about bringing these type of people and raise them up, and then bring them to the same level as the corporate people who are educated, who are doing what they're supposed to be doing? So I feel that this Back to Basics is trying to simplify the corporate people and the simple people and bring them as one people. What are your thoughts on that part?
Yeah, no, I love it because, it's interesting. I love to observe and absorb and just kind of see what's going on with the world at different times of your life. And if you sit among people in a retirement community, they don't say, well, what do you do? What's your career? What is your job? They talk about just life in general, like being in the present moment of just connecting with people, of human emotions. And I found that really interesting because when you're younger, it's all about, well, hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. What do you do? What is your, and it's like, no, we're all together in this together. Yes, we're raising people up and we're educating and nurturing. But it's just an interesting take on everything. So.
Yeah. Thank you again. And in the meantime, before we give you the last, teaser, I wanted to ask you: did anyone say that you are helping a lot of different people through your podcast? Have you got that?
Wow. You know what? I get people that kind of, on the sideline. It's like, thank you for making that connection with this person. I'm going through autoimmune illness, or I'm going through this. And it's just really gratifying when, say, a client or through the podcasting, they back channel me and they say, thank you for your clarity. And thank you for being there, just listening to me and getting me through some difficult part of my health journey. And to me, that is so gratifying and rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you again. So in the meantime, here is the last teaser for today. This is a guy that I interviewed maybe a couple of months back, and by the way, he's a New Jersey guy, and I did not know that. And apparently, he has a book. He has several books. He's an entrepreneur. He's a small businessman, but we connected so well, and I asked him, "What does Back to Basic mean to him?" And here it is. What does Back to Basic mean to you?
I think back to basics. Sometimes I think in life, Girish, that we can go on and on and on and forget where we came from. So I think that's one thing, to never forget beginnings. I think point two, sometimes it's the basics of things that, the fundamental of things that are success. This doesn't mean that, 50 years from now, you can't tweak, do cool things, fancy things. But I think that everything I find in life, and I'm not into space or aeronautics, but my guess is that it's about propulsion, leaving gravity, air supply for space, all the mathematical formulas for the trajectory as gravity brings you down, and a few basic things like that. A lot of details in between, but to me, that's what I think of basics, that everything can be broken down into some common elements that you want to fundamentally explain to people, then you can build up on that. I think if you don't get the basics, if people don't understand the core concept, how a fax machine works, whatever you want to describe it, then I think it's hard to move on. How did I do?
Wow.
Oh yeah, isn't
Well
that crazy?
said.
It is so well said, because there's some few things, I've listened to that particular section every single time, and it fascinates me every single time. So guys who are listening to Ramon, or even anyone else who says, what does back to basic mean to, including Leslie, by the way, there's a playlist on my YouTube channel. So go there. On that playlist, you'll see a whole bunch of them, including Leslie and everyone else that I've interviewed so far. So, Leslie, before we leave, what are your thoughts, and do you have any last words to all my listeners? And again, I mean, you've been on Back to Basics twice so far. So, what are your thoughts so far on the journey that you've had so far for Back to Basics?
It's just, you're such a pleasure and a delight. And it's so, I just so look forward to our conversations, and I wish you all the best, because everybody that's listening, please vote for Back to Basics with Girish, because he's amazing and he is making his mark in the podcasting world. And I'm so proud of you. And I want to know when you're going to come up with a book that has everybody's responses to Back to Basics and your journey, and what started this, what planted the seed for you to do this. Inquiring minds want to know. So I'm waiting for that book, Girish.
Well, there's a lot of reasons as to how and why I've started this, and eventually there will be a book. As no promises as of yet as to when and how or whatever, but that's something that we will discuss later in the future. But there will be definitely a book from Back to Basics eventually, whenever that is. So thank you again, Leslie, for all the support that you've given me, and all the love that you've given me, and you giving me feedbacks like, just like I guess a bigger sister would. So thank you again. Thank you again for being there for me. So thank you again.
Thank you.
So guys, we spoke with Leslie today, and obviously this was definitely not an interview, but it was a casual talk as to how she felt about Back to Basics, and how she's also changing her world from her podcasting world. Now, before we leave, and before Leslie leaves, obviously she's in the backstage, but I'll tell you one thing. There's something that Back to Basics is doing, and which I think Leslie knows about, which is the virtual event that we'll be doing, the virtual conference that will be starting in December. I have not come out with the details yet, because there's a reason why, because we're still working on the details. But in the meantime, why don't you message me, email me, and tell me that if you want to be a speaker, and if you want to be a sponsor on the show. Sponsor does not always mean money. Yes, it's always kind to have money, but sponsors is also collaborating and making sure that bring your skills and your talents into this Back to Basic virtual world, then we can work together. If you're a marketer, if you're an advertiser, let's bring this together. Let's bring all the podcasters together into this one world. Now, in the meantime, here is a teaser of what podcast, or I should say Podfest, or I should say Pod Friends will be there for. So listen to this here. So, guys, if you want to be a speaker, if you want to be a sponsor, please do email me. And their forms will be coming out at the end of July. So please be mindful and check that out when we add that to the website. Now, currently, the website is changing and slowly changing into the one podcast into 4 podcast details. And that'll be also on the website too. Now, obviously, Back to Basics has also started a production house for Back to Basics, and we're helping other podcasters to be a podcaster, which means that there are courses. Now, the other thing also is that if you are a podcaster and you need help on editing, publishing, whatever it is, Back to Basics is there for you. Now, as usual, as always, what do we always say at the end of the episode? And I guess Leslie knows it, I know it, and everyone knows it who's part of Back to Basics. Everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, take care. God bless. And I know that I usually have quotes at the end of the episode, but honestly, this is not an episode. This is a celebration for Back to Basics, so there'll be no quotes for today. But be well, be blessed, stay blessed, and keep on listening to Back to Basics and vote for us, because you know what? With your love and support, this is only possible to make this happen for season 3 or season 4 or anywhere else. So take care, God bless, and I will see you next time on Back to Basics. Enjoy your summer, whoever is listening.